The war love between a Taiwanese soldier stationed in Lebanon and an American female officer, love burns. It's a fascinating story. Tells. A Taiwanese soldier who was discharged to the strange Lebanon. There he fell in love with an American female officer. They found one that transcended all boundaries, and love in unison. It was early spring 2018. The chill has not completely dissipated. Although the warm sunshine is behind the motive. Gradually poke your head out. But on the streets of Taipei, there is still a smell of coldness. In this atmosphere, a young man named Lin Gengyan, consciousness is 29 years old, preparing for enlistment. His dream of getting into medical school, not conceived since childhood. Rather, it's witnessing grandpa and grandma. Grandparents were so sick after that. Aspire to become a doctor. And the result of a growing desire to save lives. The problem is that he made this decision too late. The people around him kept telling him, if he wants to go to medical school, it needs to be kept from a young age. But he insisted on going his own way slowly. Eventually, he tried the high school entrance examination and transferred to another school. Or even take the entrance exam for a private medical school. Eventually, he was accepted into a private medical school. Unconsciously, he is almost 30 years old. The period for which he can postpone military service is limited. Although there is an option to graduate early and became a military doctor. But the condition of the family did not allow it. He eventually enlisted as an ordinary soldier. If he doesn't worry, medical school must be resumed after being discharged from the military. That must be a lie. But he couldn't turn back. He comforted himself, thinking that the time for Taiwan may really be over. In this way, Lin Gengyan began his military career. Prepared to enlist. He was then assigned to a sick post. When he was first assigned to the troops, people look at him differently. With just graduated from high school, young people in their early 20s who enlist in the army are different. He is almost 30 years old. It's a relatively senior age. The squad leaders were a little flustered. But it soon got better again. Say something like a veteran. Why are you here now? Words like this. He began his military career as a pseudo-sick and tried to make the most of his experience in medicine. Though, he has not yet reached the level where he can truly practice medicine. But he has basic medical knowledge. It is of great help to the life of the military road. He is familiar with performing simple first aid and checking the patient's condition. And by measuring blood pressure, and simply ask the patient about the pain they complain of. Won the trust of his superiors and colleagues. Time flies as fast as the afternoon. Soon summer is approaching. Someday, when he was exhausted from training joint work, a special announcement suddenly came over the camp radio. The content is about the peacekeeping force that is about to leave for Lebanon. Supporters are being recruited. Lin Gengyan stopped and didn't pay much attention. But at a certain point, a small gross fire ignited in his heart. International prestige and figures. Isn't it just strange and dangerous? On the other hand, even as a soldier, he felt that maybe he could be in this situation. Offer some help. It's just that the guide has to go where help is needed. Provide medical support to people. Just let his heart beat faster. This peacekeeping force, responsible for working with UN peacekeeping forces, supporting the backbone of southern Lebanon. Over here, they are quite inhabited by providing medical assistance, rehabilitation of infrastructure in the area, and to carry out residents' cooperation in various fields. Of course, there are risks, but to be able to live in a real place on another side of the planet, do something meaningful. It felt very special. Lin Gengyan volunteered without hesitation. Soon after, his own name is under the hood, on the list of selected candidates. Some asked him, why choose such a difficult path? While others encouraged him, if he wants to gain more experience as not sick. This is a good opportunity. Most importantly, he had a strong desire to help people apply their medical knowledge, deeply rooted in his heart. And this desire led him to Lebanon. Midsummer 2009. World Nike Street as a member of the peacekeeping force relocation. Arrive in the south of Lebanon. Completely different climate, completely different cultures, and incomprehensible. political and religious issues. However, within the polar regions, they have to go through world-class training. Be prepared for any unexpected events that may occur. For the first month or two, he was busy with local habilitation, basic safety education, and with the United Nations. While the troops are preparing for joint operations, whenever the scorching sun carries the dust of the desert, sweeping around the bases, and he realized, this is by no means a comfortable place. But there's also a strange excitement in it. If only he could help someone else here, that's enough. He goes through every day with that thought. It's not just Taiwanese soldiers around the base. Come from peacekeepers of several countries, including the United States. Joint operations are ongoing. They often cooperate and exchange information. Someday, medical care for Taiwanese peacekeepers for the U.S. medical team. The first phase was road. Provide medical support to local residents. It was in that place. Directly met an American female officer for the first time. Her name is Captain Reeg Anderson. Regardless of nationality, rank, or gender, she was enough to catch his eye at once. She is dignified and confident. In addition, she is only in her 20s. Is a relatively young officer. Rachel is always sincere, of the patient, and give a warm smile to tired colleagues. Lin Gengyan found. I was unconsciously moved by him, but at the same time, he thought I was a soldier. He was an officer, and we are different nationalities. A wall where friendship is inaccessible. However, since they are providing medical support at the same time, more and more time to work together, they naturally had the opportunity to talk. Lin Gengyan used a different kind of English. Made an awkward self-introduction. Rachel with a don't call. A few simple greetings were said in Chinese. When they communicate with each other. When smiling and using gestures and expressions, Lin Gengyan mentioned that he studied medicine. Ruichio's eyes lit up. He was a volunteer officer, so he likes to talk about medicine. Since then, they are often on breaks. Take out medical books or magazines. Share what they know. The two began to learn each other's languages. Lin asked Rachel about the U.S. soldiers, commonly used expressions, and learned from them. And Rachel is connected. Read and write simple Chinese sentences. These two young people with super similar interests begin to rely on each other in distant places. It's natural. In a disciplined army, of course. Soldiers and officers became too close to each other. Yes, caution is required. Although they are from different national armies. But if the wrong report to the superior dazzled, it can creep in and cause trouble. However, they are just learning from each other. And a sincere desire to end each other's cultures. If they explain, this is language learning and medical learning. Everyone will agree. So, their relationship is close to friends who encourage each other. A late night. Lin Gengyan is in a small office at a base. I'm reading a book of medicine in English brought by Ruichio. Textbooks whenever they encounter a difficult word. Ruichio will kindly correct the pronunciation and take advantage of the opposite context. Lin Gengyan. A page of a Chinese medical book was opened and explain it step by step. They had a serious exchange of views. The way the heads are pressed together. It makes it very warm for those who see them. Over time, one day, security inside the base was further strengthened. Intelligence shows. The enormous momentum around the base is unsettling. There are rumors that armed groups are operating. Why? The troops quickly took defensive measures and give the awe-inspiring people more thorough attention. Meanwhile, a group of militants drive a car full of explosives. Rush to the base. 2 guards at the gate to survey the vehicle. Found out quickly. It can be pointed out. The bomb exploded faster than expected. Luckily, the vehicle itself, before fully entering the base, blocked. He didn't cause a global outbreak. But since the explosion occurred at close range, the guards could not avoid injuries. Lin Gengyan was in the waiting room of the medical team at the time. Organize your files. And Ruichio is in contact with the headquarters of the U.S. medical team. The alarm in the base went off. The two ran out almost simultaneously with their medical kits. The area where the upper yard is transported, like a scene from a war movie. It's chaos. The soldier in his hand had shrapnel in his leg, or in a state of second ringing. Seeing the soldiers stay overnight and fearful, Lin Gengyan and Ruichio quickly checked them and immediately began to provide first aid. Lin Gengyan focused on things. Remove the rescue bandage. Ruichio quickly assessed the situation and request an ambulance by radio, although it is necessary to remove the monolith from the depths. However, there is a limit to what can be done in the wild. The two work hand in hand to provide the necessary treatment. One soldier fell into a state of severe shock. But they are able to use liquids quickly, stabilize his breathing, and take him to the hospital. Their eyes met briefly. In a calm tension, there is a mixture of trust and comfort in each other. Thankfully, I'm here. They realized what a powerful force each other's presence is. After the terror subsided, soldiers undergoing emergency surgery on the base has stabilized to a certain extent. The entire base was plunged into a huge shock. Access to the surrounding area is temporarily prohibited. The level of security is raised to the highest level. Lin Gengyan and Rachel barely came out of the tension. Sit in the treatment room in the corner of the emergency room and rest. They feel tired and exhausted, but the adrenaline hasn't subsided yet. They can't sleep. When their hands touch, that moment, the overflowing emotions made them say something. Lin Gengyan used English that was not taught. Cautiously confessed, "I'm glad we met. I'm always worried about you." "Be careful," Rachel replied in a trembling voice. "I think I like you too. More than just friends." The level is strong. International power seemed so distant at that moment. They work together to overcome times of crisis, get to know each other better. In the same condition as the battlefield, the joy and relief of saving lives, and the sincerity to each other that is integrated into it, burst out in the form of a confession. The question is, their relationship is difficult to get formal recognition. Lin Gengyan was a soldier of the Republic of China Army. Ruichio is a U.S. Army officer in a highly disciplined organization. This relationship is not easily tolerated. However, they are as unrestricted as possible. Make time out of the base to spend time together. If they met secretly on the side of the soldiers' cafeteria, they will make brief eye contact when they need. When you want to check medical-related documents or equipment, they will ask for each other's opinions. And in the mix of discontinuities, smile in English and Chinese conversations. When they were young, they were photographed together and were the source of first joy. Eyes colliding in the helmet, and smiles exchanged in stressful situations. It brought great comfort to each other. Eventually, as the deployment deadline approaches, the Health Peacekeeping Force began to prepare after the completion of the rotation. Return to Taiwan. The U.S. military also plans to follow the schedule. Replacement of starting number personnel. They often feel sad. It's like being in a time-limited relationship. Lovers alike. Lin Gengyan must return to Taiwan. Completed his military career as a child. Ruichio must return to the United States, continuing his duties as an officer. The desire to be together grows in their hearts, but reality hinders them. One day, Ruichio cautiously proposed, "Even if we went back, we can still keep in touch. We install a messaging app. It's not about connecting each other." Lin Gengyan also hurried on his mobile phone. The latest messaging app is installed and saved Rachel's contact information. That's it, why the wrong character is over. Lin Gengyan returned to the troops. Ruichio flew on a U.S. military transport plane, left Lebanon. At the airport, they exchanged a final hug and repeated, "I'm not sure we'll be able to meet again, but we must meet again." Although they can't be sure whether they will meet again, in their hearts is a strange emptiness and a small but certain hope. After returning to Taiwan, Lin Gengyan must complete his military career as a child. Luckily, he was able to get a short sabbatical upon his return. But since he had to go on to duty immediately, his daily routine is busy again. In the meantime, he continued to exchange information with Rikia, although it is difficult to communicate at the right time due to the time difference. But they exchanged some short sentences and voice messages. For example, "You've worked hard today." And one, "I'm too much like you." Send a message, then fall asleep, then wake up in the morning. It is to confirm that Ruichio has been restored. It became the happiest moment of the day for Lin Gengyan. Ruichio had the same idea. He worked in a U.S. military hospital. And try not to forget the Chinese he learned. When he was young, he would give it to Lin Gengyan. Send some awkward Chinese sentences. Amuse him. The two also shared each other's daily lives. Lin Gengyan shared what he encountered in the army, the new knowledge he learned as a health soldier, as well as his response to the post-discharge concerns about studying at the Chinese Institute of Translation and Interpretation. Kneel and beg to tell him about the U.S. military's medical system, where he met the patient, and some of the leisure activities he enjoys in the United States, and food culture. Unconsciously, the two maintain a relationship that is close to being in love. Over time, Lin Gengyan was finally discharged from the army. After being discharged from the military, he went back to school to continue his medical school studies, and it must be caught up quickly. The studies and internships he missed. Time is of the essence. Assignments, exams, and internships are ongoing. Meanwhile, some days he struggles to keep in touch with Rachel. One day, Rachel sent a message. Said, "I think I can go to Taiwan." He is already planning to take a leave of absence by requesting it. Temporary transfer to his duty station in the United States. Come and visit Taiwan. Lin Gengyan's heart jumping with incredible joy. Is he really coming to Taiwan? Just imagining the moment he stepped on the soil of Taiwan, he was thrilled. A few days later, Rachel arrives in Peach Park Airport. Lin Gengyan waited anxiously in front of the gate. Once he appeared, he hurried to recycle it. In a moment of excitement and joy, the two quickly recognized each other. I didn't care about the eyes of the people around me. Meet at a peaceful civilian airport, and not in military uniforms or on the battlefield. They look more comfortable than forgetting any time. After the joy of the east wind, Rachel sat in a quiet cafe. Lin Gengyan looked at it with a serious expression. In a trembling voice, he said, "I was pregnant. This child is yours." Lin Gengyan couldn't believe it. The time we spent together in Lebanon was short, but really during that time, he was indeed deeply in love with each other, and have had intimate acts, although that period was short. But this happened in a foreign theater of operations, at a time when you feel uncertain about the future. Rachel nodded. Tears welled up in my eyes. I'm a doctor, so I checked it carefully. I confirmed when he came into being. I want to raise this child with you. Lin Gengyan's mind went blank. Now I'm a student, and I had to finish my medical school coursework. And it's a transnational marriage. But at the same time, a great joy welled up in my heart. So loving someone conceived my child. This made my heart pound, he said as he trembled as he took Rachel's hand. I'll be responsible for you. Let's get married. Unexpectedly, the proposal naturally blurted out at that moment. They are people of two different nationalities. In the past, in the army organization were officers and soldiers, but now they have been discharged and love each other sincerely. So they believe that they can overcome any difficulty. The reaction of the family and those around them was initially good. Lin's parents were worried about poor culture, isomorphic language barriers, but because Ruichio sincerely greeted them and said that he would respect Taiwanese culture, they gradually opened their hearts. The marriage process is somewhat complicated, but the two first. A simple ceremony was held in Taiwan, and prepare documents in the United States. Become an official couple. As Lin Gengyan watched Rachel's belly grow bigger and bigger, he felt more and more real. I'm really going to be a dad. Rachel while spending time with the person he loves. I also felt a sense of security. After getting married, Lin Gengyan continued his medical school courses and internships. He saw it. He has exams to take. And after he graduated, through the process of internships and residency, become a doctor. Will go on a journey still a long way off. In the process, Rachel silently supports her husband, Lin Gengyan. Of course, she also had to undergo obstetrics and gynecology treatment to give birth to a child. And when she was having trouble in the hospital, because she is not fluent in Chinese, Lin Gingyan was by her side as a translator. They have a busy daily life. There is no time to indulge in the sweetness of a newlywed, but they support each other. Ruichio adjusted his leave during his service in the U.S. Army. While staying in Taiwan, Lin Gingyan also did his best. Balance parenting readiness and schoolwork. They decided to give birth to their baby in Taiwan. They also made comparisons with great interest. How fertility culture differs between Taiwan and the United States, and buy from the move step by step. Over time, the first child was finally born. The son was registered for one, named after his parents, or a name that symbolizes hope for the world. When the baby cries for the first time, Lin Gingyan sobbed excitedly. He said as he held Rachel's hand tightly, "Thank you for being by my side. I love you," and hold my baby's little hand tightly. Raising your first child is like a battlefield. Difficult and arduous. Neither of them slept. Knock back enemies. Diaper changing for newborns who have reversed day and night. And schedule the timing of formula, milk, and vaccinations. Even so, there are these people who have been through the battlefields of Lebanon together. I think, too, this daily life is instead a blissful hustle and bustle. Compared to risking your life, taking care of kids overnight is nothing. The two encourage each other and raise their children. Later, a daughter was also born. They raised a pair of children. Listen to the laughter of the children filling the house. Lin Gingyan is still pursuing his medical studies. Ruichio gradually became familiar with Taiwanese culture. His Chinese skills have also improved. The children naturally learned Chinese and English, effortlessly overcome their parents' language barriers experienced. Lin Gingyan passed a lengthy internship, hospitalization for a lifetime course. Gradually, he established himself as a doctor. In the process, Ruichio also studied nursing and emergency medicine, and eventually received his status as an officer. Eventually, after Lin Gingyan completed his specialist course, Ruichio is also able to be in Taiwan. Medical-related activities are carried out legally. The two decided to open a small clinic together. In the early days, because this is one, clinics run by Taiwanese and foreigners. So, it aroused the curiosity of many people. Rumor has it that he is an officer from the U.S. military. People also come here to say, this is a multicultural family-run clinic. However, this clinic is one of the reasons for its establishment, because they started to build from Lebanon. The philosophy of helping patients with sincerity. Lin Gingyan treats patients warmly and calmly. Rachel passed for the outside of the need for English. Skilled guidance is provided to patients in the country. Leaves a friendly impression. With word of mouth spreading, the number of patients is gradually increasing. It has become an indispensable clinic for the local community. Son Jiajun. Jiajun is interested in science like his father. The daughter was as outgoing as his mother for a while, and good at taking care of people. They are both fluent in Chinese and English. Sometimes joke and chat with each other at home. Sometimes also on the path their parents have walked. Curious. Mom, how did you come to Taiwan? If I met your dad on the battlefield and got married, your mother is a soldier. For kids, this current event is like a movie story. Their parents saved the biting dog, saved a soldier who had been attacked in a war zone, and led to marriage. Especially parents. Different nationalities and languages. It became something that children could show off to their friends. After a few years, the whole family took time out. A trip to the United States, Rachel's hometown. After working hard to run a clinic in Taiwan, they want to recharge with a family trip. They visited the home of Ruichio's parents, show them grandchildren and granddaughters, and decided to travel by car with their family. A camper van tour through the fluffy continental United States. A special experience for everyone. The children marveled at the scenery outside the window. Endless driving on the highway. After passing through a desert area, they can see the stars on the mountainside in the night sky, and they can be after crossing the forest school road. Arrive at the national park and encounter wildlife. Everyday life in a camper van is rough and uncomfortable, but because it's a mutual care affair, and the process of sharing their hearts, affluent than ever. At night, they park their cars in a safe place and set up tents. The whole family thinks sitting around the campfire and sharing old stories. When Rachel says, "Mom will tell you, how did my dad and I meet? And what we're doing?" And when taking out the story of Lebanon, the children listened attentively with curious eyes. When the bomb explodes, "Aren't you afraid for this issue?" Lin Gingyan replied with a smile. "I was really scared, but I was able to overcome it, because we're all in this together. And your mom and I have been together for a long time." Each other, the children clapped their hands and said it was too bitter. And say to each other, "I love you, Mom and Dad." Ruichio saw the scene. His eyes turned red. Our family is so precious. When the trip is coming to an end, the whole family stopped by a beautiful lake and went on their last camp. At sunset, the setting sun spreads over the water, dyed golden. They lined up while enjoying a simple barbecue. While joking, Lin Gingyan and Rachel May, when their eyes met, will smile in return. "We spend our time with our families in peace. It was like a dream. What is love?" They cried together and fantasized. Look at it at the same time. In the emergency moments they spent together on the battlefield, born children, and their efforts to overcome borders and linguistic walls, and the creation of a new world. That's their family. Lin Gingyan thinks. If he had not chosen to be sent at that time, he wouldn't have encountered all these connections. Rachel also believes dispatch to Lebanon has completely changed his life. That's it. A fateful choice breeds great love. And this love gives birth to a new life. Started a family, and grow into a pair who will help others for the rest of their lives. Couple, as a result. The fruit of happiness is the blossoming and fruiting. Under a starry night sky, families sit side by side in tents and chairs. The Milky Way looms. The sound of moving insects. It can be heard in the wind among the eerie trees. The son is talking about the game. The daughter is pleading. Want to see a new animal? Ruichio and Lin shook each other's hands. Let's stay together forever. Of course, we are already a family. The children took turns looking at their parents and showed a big smile. Here, I love you, Mom and Dad. With these words, parents felt that their hearts were swelling. In this way, naturally, they shouted to each other, I love you too. War, international, class, language. They overcame all these walls and eventually became a family. Even if they returned to Taiwan and after the camper road, returned to their daily routines, this love will not change. Life is sometimes dangerous and unstable. And it's one. You don't know where you'll end up on the road. But in the end, if you have sincere courage and hope, and have a strong belief in each other, and they proved it, they can overcome any obstacle in the world. In this long and glorious story, they were overcome by overcoming in Lebanon. Terrorist attacks encountered in this dangerous land, blooming with love. Moreover, these two are people who are both internationally and classically distinct. Started a family, ushered in a new person, believe in you, new life, and finally reached a charming ending. Co-run a clinic, and enjoyed travel to and from the US and Taiwan by campervan. They started later than the others. But here's why. It's a more meaningful start. And this beginning still continues every day, with new miraculous moments. They believe that they will be able to overcome any adversity, because they own each other. This ended up changing in the most beautiful way. Their fate. Thank you for watching today. If you find the video interesting, please subscribe, like, and comment. I will try to bring you more good works.